Hi everyone, today we're going to do lesson 1.1, but to get there we need to start here at Smyrna Middle School. You might have a bookmark, like a Clever bookmark like I do up here, but we're going to get to Clever. So however you get to Clever, so you can go to Students Clever, or this one I think is the best, right at the Smyrna Middle School's website, right there on the right, click on Clever. So again, you can watch this video faster if I'm going too slow, or you can hit rewind or go back and watch over if I'm going too fast. We're going to get to My PLTW through Clever. So you might have to log into Clever using your first name, last name at smyrnaeagles.org. And then you might have to scroll all the way down. If you don't have the heart checked, like these aren't checked or aren't red, then it won't show up at the top. But if you click on that and make it red, then it shows up here. So I'm going to click on this. This is going to open My PLTW. All right, yours looks a little bit different, but it should say welcome back in your first name. You're going to go to courses. So here we are at courses. Click on courses. Now again, mine's a little bit different than yours because I'm the teacher and I have different classes that I teach, but you're going to go to the orange one that says green architecture. You should have two. There's also a Spanish version. If you'd like to use that, you're more than welcome to. But we're going to the English version, students, orange, green architecture. Now we're going to activity 1.1 today. So down over here on the left side, we're going to scroll down and we're going to click on lesson 1 right here. When that does that, it's going to drop us right to the very first activity, which is activity 1.1, measuring practice. And it opens up right here. And we can make this go away so things are a little bit bigger now that we're done with that. We're going to scroll down here. We're going to read through this and we're going to see what equipment we need. So we need a calculator. You can do a number of things. Use a calculator on the computer. A lot of times computers have calculators already in them. So I started typing in this little search thing. Calculator comes up and I can click on that and open that and it'll be on my computer just like this. Or you can go into another tab, type in calculator in a Google search or maybe even other ones, other type of search engines like Bing or something. And there you go. You have a calculator there as well with many more functions. So any way that you want to do it, calculator can be open there or on a tab, or if you have your phone that probably has a calculator on it, or if you have a calculator, you can use that on your desk. All right, we also need tape measure, ruler, or yardstick. You can use probably just a ruler, or you can use just a tape measure. You use just a yardstick. It's got to have inches on it. The ruler might be small for some things, but you can hopefully keep track and move the ruler to measure the bigger things. All right, we're going to start this PowerPoint. I have it open right here already. I went over this in class, so if you've already seen this PowerPoint, you don't need to watch it again. You can move forward in the video. However, if you miss class and you need to watch this, please make sure you do. All right, so let's go to full screen. I'll start a slideshow from the beginning. Of course, it does that. Let's not do that then. There we go. That's what we want. So this is our measurement. All right, so using the English measuring system, we're using inches, feet, and yard. We're just kind of thinking to yourself, how many inches are in a foot? How many feet in a yard? How many quarter inches in an inch? How many eighths of an inch is in an inch? Eighth of an inch in an inch, yeah. Can you figure out a pattern? So how many 16ths inches in an inch? How many 32nds inches in an inch? So here we've got a little picture right here, kind of shows us an inch, obviously not to scale, and then it's broken into 8 pieces. Right here, this is one. The space in between is another one, another one, another one, another one. And so there's 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so up to this line would be 7 of those 8. Up to this line would be 4 of those 8s, but we can reduce that to 1/2. 4 over 8 is the same thing as 1/2. And so the same thing is happening there. All right, so we do know, or hopefully we know, that there are 12 inches in a foot. You might want to write this stuff down in your composition book or in your notebook. How many feet are in a yard? Well, there's 3 feet in a yard. Think to yourself, how many quarter inches in an inch? Well, we got 1 quarter inch here. We got another 3 quarter inches here. All right, what do you think? Hopefully you said 4. There are 4 quarter inches, and just think about that. 4 over 4, if we had 4 of them, that would be 1. So then how many eighths of an inch are in an inch? Think about it. Hopefully you said 8. Again, if you put an 8 here instead of the 1, you would have 8 of those, and 8 over 8 would be the same thing as 1. So can you see the pattern? What do you think this one's going to be? Hopefully you guessed 16. And lastly, 1/32 of an inch. You need 32 of them to make 1 inch. All right, so here is a ruler. And so you look at the ruler, locate the ruler mark. What do they mean by that? So here we go. 1 3/4. Where is it? Well, here's 1. And then after that, we've got a quarter, a half, and 3/4. So I think it's right there. Yay, I was right. Where is 3 1/2? Figure it out. So here's 1, 2, 3. And then after that, we got to find the half. Well, here it is. The half after the 3. So I think it's right there. Perfect. Where's 4 1/2? Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the quarter? 4 1/4. Well, after the 4, the first quarter is right here. Perfect. 5 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first half after that is this one. So we say 5 1/2 inches. So it's 5 inches and then another half. So it's right there. Where is 0? Right here. I hope. Yep, I was right. All right. Read the line. Read my line. Let's try this. Okay. So you can see that line lines up with this mark right here on the ruler. Starts at the 0. Hope. Pretty close. So I think they're saying this is 3/4 of an inch. Let's see. Yes. And our second line pops up. This one is almost to the 1, because we went 1 full inch and then a quarter. And so it's 1 1/4. This one goes to the 1, but then it goes all the way to the 5/8 mark. So I believe they want us to say 1 5/8. Let's see. Yes. This one goes to past the 2 inch and to the 3/8 mark. So this is 2 3/8. Now this is a nice ruler. It has every mark labeled. Not all rulers are that way, as you will see. So this is going to be, what do you think? Okay, 2 7/8. This one's going to be 3 1/2. This one's going to be 4 1/8. Good. This one, all right, that's it. So read my line, more practice. So here are the rulers that don't have things marked. So this gets a little tricky. Now notice that the lines are different lengths. And so these ones that are here are going to be, I don't know, how many of them are there in 1 inch? So we can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16ths of an inch right there. So every of these little lines, and then the bigger lines that go with it, can be reduced, and so that's why they're a little bit, they can be called something else. So this is 1/16, this is 2/16, also known as 1/8, because 2 divided by 2, 16 divided by 2, you can convert that to 1/8. This is 3/16. This is 4/16. Again, can be reduced into a quarter, 1/4. So that's our first answer. A is a quarter. And I was right. Come into here, we can see that we're 2/16 away from 1. So that would be 14/16, which can be reduced to 7/8. Right? If we take 14 divided by 2, we get 7. We take 16 divided by 2, and we get 8. So that can be reduced to 7/8. And there you go. They show you both the 4/16 and the 7/8. This one here, don't forget, this is 1. So we got to put a 1 first. And then these lines here are by eighths. Because it's on one of those, I can use that. So this is 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. I might know that this is a half, and then this is one more eighth. So a couple ways you could do it. You could count these lines: 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. Or you can think a half is 4/8, and then the next one would be 5/8. So there you go. 10/16, you could have done it that way as well. 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10/16, and then reduce it to 5/8. So as you get more familiar with a ruler, the better you'll be at reading it. So that's why we're going to practice this a lot today. 2 and a 16th, an eighth, 3/16. 1, 2, 3/16. So 2 and 3/16, I think. Yay, I got it right. All right, number 2. We're going all the way to this line. Well, this is kind of going with our every other line, which we know those are eighths. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, also known as a half. 5/8, we talked about that one back here. And 6/8, also known as 3/4. And 7/8. And we can see that it's 1/8 away, or 2/16 away from the 3. So 2 and 14/16, or 2 and 7/8. Let's see if we're right. 2 and 14/16, 2 and 7/8. Yay. Okay. All right. So architecture units notation. So most architecture drawings use the architectural representations displaying measurements in feet and inches. So this is an example right here. 16 feet, 2 inches. They use the 1 mark and then the 2 marks, which you guys might know as the quotation marks. So 1 quotation mark is for feet, 2 quotation marks is for inches. So this is showing with a dash in the middle, 16 feet, 2 inches. Sometimes we need to convert these. To do math with them, it's much more difficult to do it with inches and feet. We need the same units. So sometimes we need to know only inches or only feet, not feet and inches. So here's how we do it. A ratio, we talked about this when we talked about the hourly ratios and the yearly ratios when we were talking about different jobs, that relates a measurement in one unit to the same measurement in another unit. So for example, we talked about this before in this slideshow. 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. So we can write it like this: 3 feet over 1 yard. Now we talked about this before. Because it's a ratio, we could actually switch these depending on where we want the units. 1 yard over 3 feet. We can do that too because it's a ratio. It's not truly a fraction. And so changing those up just means that they're the same, because 3 feet and 1 yard are the same distance. They technically are equal to each other, and it means 1. You're not really changing anything. Either way you write it. You're just changing the units, basically. So the ratio of feet to yards is 3 to 1. And you could also say the ratio of yards to feet is 1 to 3. 1 yard equals 3 feet. So we can go back and forth and do it either way. All right, so let's get started. So here we have feet to inches. This is a ratio. 1 foot equals 12 inches. We can write it a couple different ways. 12 over 1, which is what I really like for math purposes and converting purposes. You can also write it with the colon in between. But then you got to write the units over here, which I don't like that as much, just because the units are separate from the numbers. So this is the desired unit. You want inches. The given unit is in feet. And that's good to know. Given, desired. Keep that in mind. There's going to be a slight quiz on this later. Miles to feet. Maybe you didn't know this, but there is, in every 1 mile, there's 5,280 feet. And we can write it like this. Or that. Okay. So let's get into conversion. Canceling out unwanted units is similar to canceling out common factors when multiplying fractions. We talked about this again in our previous unit. So here we are. Like if we were talking about fractions, we got 5 over 7, 7 over 3. When we multiply them, we could multiply them. 5 times 7 is 35. 7 times 3 is 21. Now, both of those numbers that's not reduced. 35 over 21 is not reduced. But we could also just cancel out the 7 that's on top and cancel out the 7 on bottom and left with 5/3. Let's see what happens here. Okay? And that's much easier to do than have to think about, okay, what can I take into 35 and what can I take into 21? So cancel those out before they get big because they're the same. 7 over 7 is the same thing as 1. And so we just left with the 5 and we just left with the 3. Same thing can happen with units. So here we are, 17.2 yards. We want to convert that to feet. So we write it like this. 17.2 yards is in 1 foot. I would like that to have a foot there. I don't know why that's not there. We then use our conversion factor. Because foot is on the bottom, we need to make sure foot is on the top so that they can cancel each other out, foot, feet. Okay? So that's why we wrote it like this, 3 feet over 1 yard. Then we do the math, we'll cancel out the yards, and now we're going to be left with just feet. And if we do the math with the numbers, 17.2 times 3, 1 times 1, of course anything over 1 is the same number. So here we are, 51.6 feet, and we're left with no unit on the bottom. And so really we could write this as just 51.6 feet without the 1. There it is. That's how you do it. The biggest thing is to make sure that your yards and your yards cancel out. Oh, I know it. So yeah, feet doesn't belong here. My fault. Feet doesn't belong here. This is just saying 17.2 yards is not the same thing as 1 foot. Dummy. That's not true. So take that back. All right, let's try this again and maybe I'll do it right this time. So 4 feet to inches. So here's 4 feet over 1. Same thing as just writing 4 feet. Anything over 1 is the same thing. 5 over 1 is 5. 2 over 1 is 2. So they just put the 1 on the bottom so that you had a number there to kind of hold a place. We're then going to use how many inches are in a feet. Anybody remember? That's right, 12 inches in 1 foot. Again, we want to cancel out the feet here and get it to convert to inches. So we want inches, the desired unit on top, the given unit on bottom. And so we do the math, or sorry, we cancel out first, get rid of the feet, get rid of the feet. Do the math, 4 times 12, 1 times 1, 48 over 1. Could also be written as just 48 inches. So 4 feet is the same thing as 48 inches. All right, here's another one. 2 feet, 5 inches. How are we going to do this? Well, 2 feet, 5 inches. So start with the 2 feet and convert that into inches because we can't add them together because one's in feet and one's in oranges. It's like saying, how many oranges do you have if you have 5 oranges and 2 apples? Do you have another orange with 2 apples? No, you can't do that. So you got to somehow, I know that's a bad example, but you got to somehow get in the same units. So here we go. We're going to convert our feet, this is our given, into inches. This is what our desired. Inches are on top, feet are on bottom for our conversion factor, which is right here, 12 over 1. When we do the math, we're going to get 24 over 1. And then we can take the 24 and add it to 5 to get our total inches for 2 feet, 5 inches is 29 inches. Let's see what happens. Cancel out the feet. Now we got 24 inches. We got inches here. We can add inches with inches. We can't add basically oranges and apples. We can't add them together. But we can add, when they're the same units, in this case, inches to inches, and we get 29 inches. All right, so your turn. 1 foot has how many inches? Good. 1 foot, 8 inches. How many inches? You might need a piece of paper to figure this out. Pause the video. Go ahead and figure this one out. All right, hopefully you figured out that, hey, 1 foot is 12 inches. So now I can just take 12 plus 8. You could have done the conversion stuff, or you could just remember that 1 foot is 12 inches and substitute that out. This 12 for that one and change the unit to inches. And that's what they did here, which is 20 inches. All right, 3 feet, 6 inches. And do the conversion, stop the video on a piece of paper, 3 feet over 1 times 12 inches in every foot. 12 over 1 inches at the 12 and foot with the 1. Find out what that is for your feet, then add that to 6. So you can see that's what they did. 3 feet times 12 inches over 1 plus what's the inches they have here. So that's going to convert it to inches because the feet's going to cancel out. The feet's going to cancel out. 36 plus 6 is 42. All right, here's another one. Do it exactly like this. 15 times 12 over 1. So 15 times 12 is what? Plus 11. Hopefully that's what you got. I forgot to say stop the video before I clicked. Oh well. All right, last one. 21 feet in yards. All right, so we changed our desired unit. We want it in yards. So remember, there are 3 feet in every yard. So what's this going to look like? 21 over 1 times, well, I want yards on top. So I'm going to put 1 yard divided by 3 feet and get my feet to cancel each other out. Pause the video, come finish that. There it is. 21, 1 over 3. The feet cancel out. The 21 and the 3 divide with each other, and you get 7, and you're left with just yards. So there that is. Okay. So if 4 blocks equals 1 inch in length, so here's you got grid paper, and they make the paper for architects. They make the paper mean something. The grid lines mean something. What is the conversion factor for inches to blocks? So we keep that conversion factor in our brains. 4 blocks equals 1 inch. So if we draw a line that's 4 blocks, we know that's 1 inch long without even using a ruler. It's nice. All right. Again, remember, desired unit on top, given unit on the bottom. Second time we've seen it, I've mentioned it several times. It's going to be on the quiz. Take notes. How many blocks in 3 inches? So again, you want blocks. That's your desired amount. How many blocks? You want that as your desired amount. Put that on top. 3, hopefully you're writing this out, over 1, 3 inches over 1, times 4 blocks over 1 inch. Your inches are going to cancel out. Do your math. Let's see what you got. 12. 12 blocks is going to be 3 inches. Now this is easy. Maybe some of you are doing it for some of you. So maybe this is something you can do in your head. But this is the way you're going to do it when things get a little bit tougher. And so you should be practicing it now. All right. So if 4 blocks equal 1 inch, how many blocks is 6 inches? Pause your video. Come up with an answer. All right. Hopefully that's what you did. Let's do the next one. Pause the video. Come up with an answer. All right. Hopefully that's what you did. If you didn't do that, look at what you did. Look at what they did. Figure out why yours is different. Maybe you put a 1 underneath of this. That's okay. Maybe you put a 1 under the 6. That's okay. That doesn't change anything. Maybe you did something else. Maybe you had the 4 and the 1 backwards. Well, think about it. You need your desired units, which is over here, on top. All right, so let's pause your video, do the last one. All right, hopefully that's what you got. So, converting architectural units is a valuable skill and will help you solve many problems, avoid lots of mistakes. The process of converting feet and inches to decimal feet is simple and powerful. You will use this method to calculate area and perimeter of future activities. So we're learning this here in an activity, and then we'll have projects that we'll be doing later that you'll use this information. So we got to make sure we can do this. It's like dribbling a basketball. We got to learn how to dribble before we can play basketball. And so we practice that first. Convert 7 feet 4 inches. Remember, 1 is feet, 2 is inches, to decimal feet. So this means using a decimal instead of fractions. Thank you. All right, so decimal feet. We know we got 7. That's a whole number. So it's going to be 7 point something. Well, how much is 4 inches in a foot? Well, there's 12 inches in a foot. So how do we do this? Let's look. So we got 7 feet, whole number. Keep that there. We want to turn the 4, which is a part of a foot, into a decimal. So we're going to, again, desired unit is feet. We want our desired unit is feet. So we're going to put our feet on top and our inches on bottom and just cancel out the inches. Do 4 divided by 12 because 4 is on top, whether you write the 1 underneath or not. A whole number has a 1 underneath of it. We just don't usually write it. 4 divided by 12 is the same thing as what in a decimal? Well, it equals 0.33. So we're going to get 7 plus 0.33, which is going to be 7.33 feet. And the 3 is going to be repeating. They should probably have a line on over top of this. Yeah. Okay. All right, so your turn. Convert 23 feet, 6 inches into decimals. Remember, 1 line means feet, 2 means inches. What are you going to do? Well, you got 23. That's easy. Go ahead and pause the video, figure this out, and then start the video again when you're done. So hopefully your problem looks similar to this. You might have 1 underneath of this. You might have a 1 underneath of this 6. You got to have the inches because the 6 is on top. You got to have the inches here. The desired amount is feet. We want feet. And then 6 over 12 is going to be 0.5. Let's see what happens. Yep. So we got 23 plus 0.5. Put them together, 23.5. Convert this one. Pause your video. All right. Hopefully this is what you came up with. 16 3/4 or 16.75 feet. All right, so here's kind of what we're going to be doing later, where we have this architectural drawing of the floor plan, and we got to convert these measurements that they use in their plan to decimal form so that we can then multiply them. So what are the dimensions of bedroom number 3? Well, it's 10 feet 5 inches by 12 feet 5 inches. See if we got that right. Yeah, we did. All right. Convert to decimal feet. So we take 10 feet 5 and convert that to decimal feet, 10 point something, whatever 5 is, and 12 point something. Let's figure this out. I should have probably said pause the video, but this is the first time, so we'll talk about this. So 10 feet plus whatever 5 divided by 12 is, and we also have 12 feet plus the 5 divided by 12. Well, we come out, when we do 5 divided by 12, we come out with 0.417. So we add the 0.417 to this 10, and we add the 0.417 to this 10. Or your math teacher would probably say 417 thousandths of a foot. So 10 and 417 thousandths of a foot is how you would say that mathematically. By, this is actually for by, meaning one dimension versus another, 12 and 417 thousandths of a foot. Calculate the area of the room. Now that we have this in decimal form, we can do the area of the room by, if you know anything about area, it's length times width. So we just have to multiply these together to get it. And it's just 129.348 square feet. Square feet, that means a foot this way, a foot this way. 1 square, that's a foot this way, and this foot. It would be if we did that for everything on this floor, we would get 129 square feet. A square that is 1 foot by 1 foot. We get 129 of them in this room. And that's the end of our show. So going back to the assignment today, you guys are going to come down here. You're going to convert all these to decimal feet. 1 inch divided by 12, and so on. 2, 3, and try to have baseline what your decimals are going to look like when you have 1 inch. And you're going to see like 5 inches. Put that back in. 5 divided by 12 is 0.5. 416, which repeats. So the last number you round to a 7. And that's how we got that in that last problem we did. All right, you're going to do all those. You're going to do this one as well. What are we doing there? So 1/4 equals 0.25 inches. But we want to know how much that is in feet. So if you have a decimal of inches or a fraction of inches, how much is that in decimal feet? So again, you're taking your 0.5, dividing by 12, just like we did with all these. It's just now we're working with decimals instead of whole numbers like we did up here. Okay? Then you're going to do the same thing here and fill this out. Now this is going to take you some time, so I expect you guys to complete this today, and not complete it today, but work on it today, and then also finish it up on Monday's class, or if you're in even days, odd days class. I'm sorry, Tuesday's class. So depending on when your days is, you're gonna have 2 class periods to finish this paper. Go down and do all these conversions. So this one you're not gonna do as easily because we're not table B. We're not necessarily in the classroom. So these you don't need to do. So we're not doing table B. So really, yeah, so it's not a lot to do. You definitely get this done actually in 1 class period. Take that back. Do this in 1 class period. Because we're not going to do this. Because you don't have the teacher's desk. All right, rethinking about this. It's good practice. Let's do this one. Let's do this. Find a door in your house. Find the width, find the height, find the window, find the height, find the width. I don't know why they switched those up. Length of any wall in your house, and just make sure you write it like this. All right, that's what we're doing. Architectural units. You're supposed to estimate it first. So this is an estimation. Like you're just supposed to look at it and say, I think the width of the door is this many feet. Then you're supposed to go over and actually measure it and then convert it to decimals. Okay? So this one is just an estimate. This one is the actual measured, and this is a converting to just decimals, no inches, just feet. You're going to do the same thing for a seat, the height of the seat, the width of the seat, the height of the desk. Doesn't have to be a teacher's desk, any desk. Height of a garbage can, height of a recycle bin. You're going to estimate first. Just look at it. Tell, oh, I think that's about 2 feet. Write that down. Oh, I think that's about 1 foot. 6 inches, 1.5 feet. Write it down. Then go measure it. Then, or type it in. Actually, don't write it down. Type it in, and then go measure it, and then convert it, the measured, to the decimal feet. On here, you're going to type in the master bedroom's information, your answer for the master bedroom, the dimensions. Then you're going to convert to decimal feet. And so then you're going to, so for example, master bedroom, you're going to write in, I think it's 13 feet, and you can click on the picture and make it bigger, dash 10 inches by 15 feet, 0 inches. So you write that in like that. Then you got to come over here and convert that. So into decimal feet, so it's going to be 13 point something times 15.0. We don't need to do anything there. Don't forget your little, oh, this is supposed to be feet. Yeah, sorry, I wrote inches here. Feet. And this is 15 feet. And this is going to be 13 something feet. Multiply it and get the area. How many square feet? Okay, and I would like you guys to write in square feet at the end. Whatever your number is, don't forget your units. Units don't go away. And that's what you're going to fill in. Do the living room, the bedroom, and then you're done. All right. So if we are going to do all of this, we are going to take 2 days to do it. So if you can at least get, maybe up to here today, I think this will be relatively quick for you. This might take a little bit of time. So if you can get, into table B, or maybe halfway done table B, then you can finish up on Monday or Tuesday next week on doing these. All right. That's the end.